Hello everybody, it's Chocolate 1000 reporting for Tutti, welcoming you back to more Pokemon HeartGold. I do apologize about the previous episode because I kind of timed the LP to begin at a really wrong convenient time because my mum and dad were coming back off holiday from a cruise week. And yeah, but anyway, you realise that we actually stood here in Professor Elm's lab, considering that in the last episode, we actually battled the thief that stole a Pokemon from Professor Elm's lab, which was actually the starter Pokemon that's guaranteed to beat ours, being Totodile. And, just a long story short, we actually arrived inside Professor Elm's laboratory, saw a policeman, and we gave him the name of the thief who stole the Pokemon. And what's actually good about this is you can give that trainer its own name. And I have done just that. But the only problem is I don't actually remember the name it is. So when the next time we see him, you will eventually know. And in case you're wondering what his official name is, it's Noel. So, now that we've done what we needed to do, delivering the professor a Pokemon egg, we are now going to be dealing with one of the worst things to do in every single Pokemon game. Going to turn the music up a little bit. I just wanted to turn it down so that way you could actually hear what I was actually saying. Yep. She was giving us a demonstration on how to catch Pokemon. And you can see the Pokemon that she's actually using in this demonstration is a Marill. And Marill in any game that is before Gen 6, he was known to be a plain water type. So just keep that as a heads up in mind. We can't give an impression of fairy types existing because this is not a Gen 6 game. Even though the previous Pokemon LP that we did, which was Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, there were fairy types in the game. But there was nothing I could have done about that because I could have done an original LP on Pokemon Yellow, but I couldn't think of a unique way to do it. And this is like deja vu with Pokemon HeartGold. So yeah, as you can see, it's better to lower your target's HP more than I did, or make it asleep, or something else. You can try all kinds of things to see what works. And she'll give us Pokeballs, and you actually realize how many Pokeballs she had in the tutorial? Well, I find this to be very cheap, because she had like about 20 or something Pokeballs, but she only gave us 5. Meaning we have to be very limited about the Pokeballs we use. And there is actually going to be a Pokemon that you can catch in this route that I would highly recommend you catch. And this is the Pokemon. This is Pidgey. Oh, hang on, actually, really, I completely done goofed. Alright, here we go. So, since we're on Route 29, we're going to be encountering some new Pokemon. This is Pidgey, the standard normal flying type who's amazing with speed and average attacks. But that's where the positives end for this Pokemon, I'm afraid. It can be found at any time except for night, but it hardly learns any decent moves by leveling up. But don't let it stop it from catching one, as it will have its uses later in the game. The only decent moves though that it will learn via leveling up is Wing Attack at level 38 and Air Slash level 62. If I was to recommend this Pokemon in any way, it would be a HM Slave for a move that we're going to be introduced to later on in the LP. So just keep a heads up on that. And I'm realizing the screen is actually really fuzzy for the top screen, so I do apologize about that. When you get that HM move, You'll be able to get from site A to site B however you please, but it won't be able to get that move for a long time. And I think you know exactly what move that is. And I just realized Fugo's actually about to get KO'd. Oh yeah, I forgot. Gen 4 mechanics, they have moves of tackle that are 95% accuracy, and they always miss first time every time for me. I find it very annoying. But other Pokemon that you can actually get in this route, Rattata, who you saw in the demonstration of catching Pokemon. Nobody uses this Pokemon in any means of the slightest. It is the most common Pokemon you'll encounter all game. It sadly lacks in its base stats, which is a shame, as it can learn some good moves. If you need a HM slave, this Pokemon might be of help to you, but I would hugely suggest the next encounter to be your HM slave, which is a Pokemon we've not actually encountered yet, but we will encounter it now. Another Pidgey. No. It is Centrent. Centrent is a normal type Pokemon. It's known to be the better of the HM slaves, being able to learn almost all the HMs in the game. Unlike Rattata, who can't learn as much as Centrent can, but Centrent as a Pokemon, he is just a basic Pokemon who has only one purpose besides being a HM user, and that is a fast Pokemon who can run away from any wild Pokemon with his ability Runaway, which does absolutely nothing if you are in a trainer battle, so don't even consider it. I'm just going to heal up Hugo because I don't want to have one of those mechanics where I can't run away from a wild Pokemon. Oh, actually, other stuff I can also say. If you were to use one in a competitive format or as a team member for Centrent, I would actually hugely recommend going for the ability Keen Eye. Just give a heads up on that. So I kind of like lost the zone about the whole Pokemon bio there, but you kind of get the whole gist. And we keep encountering Pidgeys, which is actually starting to get annoying. But there is actually one more Pokemon that you can actually find in Route 29, specifically when it's in the night, and that is Hoot Hoot. Hoot Hoot can only be found during the night, like any other owl is known to be found. It was fun using its evolved form Noctowl back when I was doing my LP of Pokemon Coliseum, but I wouldn't recommend this Pokemon in this game, honestly. It does carry the ability Insomnia for the use of preventing to be put to sleep. But also being able to learn the move Rest doesn't help by any means of the slightest, because when a Pokemon can't be put to sleep, you can't use Rest at all. It is a good Pokemon though for being specially defensive and is balanced under everything else. So if you want to use a Noctowl, I would recommend you using Noctowl, but like I said, it might not be a helpful Pokemon to use in this game, in all honesty. We are indeed going to be catching a Centrent, so we can use it as a HM slave, but I'm not guaranteeing the outcome of using it all that much. So this is Centrent's bio. A very cautious Pokemon, it raises itself up using its tail to get a better view of its surroundings. Kind of like a meerkat, except it's not really a meerkat. And of course, if we actually go up this way, there is going to be another route. But that route is known to be Route 46, and there are going to be bios for what Pokemon you can find in this area, but I've basically planned them for other routes. So we are going to be ignoring this route until when the time comes when we officially do have to go down that route. So Obviously, I can't keep my DS still when I'm holding it one-handed. And also, just as an FYI, this is a DS game, and DS games are commonly known to have wild Pokemon spawned in like crazy. Literally like crazy. See? 4 steps in, and immediately we got jumped on again. This time by Rattata. We don't really want to be too into Pokemon battling. So yeah. Actually, hang on. I just thought. Do we have an Apricorn box? Yes, we do. So, Apricorns. There is... I'm going to turn the running speed off on this one. There is an Apricorn tree right here. This Apricorn tree gives you a green Apricorn. I'm not sure if I already mentioned this in the first part of the LP, but whatever the case, back in Cherry Grove City, we will heal up our Pokemon. So yeah, Apricorns, they don't have its uses right now, but I would recommend you grabbing a few as you go along on your journey, because they will be helpful in some scenarios in the near future. Just as a heads up on that. Right, we don't need to do anything in Cherry Grove City, and also there's not really going to be a lot of interesting Pokemon to use in the early stage. I'm just going to put Centrant in front and just see what ability it has. It actually has Keen Eye. Oh, it's a Bold Nature, which is plus physical defense minus physical attack. And Pidgey with a Calm Nature, which is minus physical attack plus special defense. Not really too bad. But the ability though, Tangled Feet, raises evasion if the Pokemon is confused. That's kind of like a whole, do I really want to use that strategy malarkey, if you get my drift. But anyway, Route 30 now. We're going to be introduced to even more new Pokemon. And this actually is the very first route that we are going to be introduced to as a region exclusive. If you are playing HeartGold, you will find either a Caterpie or a Metapod. These two are easy Pokemon to train in the early stages, as they will evolve from Caterpie into Metapod at level 7 and then into Butterfree at level 10, who is a fast special sweeper. I've used one of these competitively, and it actually does have its uses. You just got to be careful though with how to use it, as one wrong move and it'll be out like a light. And I'm going to take this time to actually knock out Metapod, and yes, they will always use Harden. So just give us a heads up in mind. And as I'm doing this battle, the other Pokemon that you can find only in Pokemon Heart Gold is Spinarak. This Pokemon is sort of hard to use in its own way. It is a bug poison type all the way through, as it can evolve into a Pokemon known as Ariados relatively early at level 22. Upon leveling up, it can learn a really good move at level 19 known as Shadow Sneak, which is a ghost type priority move that will allow you to deal damage on the first time every time. But with Spinamax, so with the move having a base power of 40, it can be helpful to cover one of its weaknesses. But just bear in mind, don't use it on any normal type Pokemon because it will be ineffective. I've literally lost sight of what I was actually reading then. Sorry, going back. One of its weaknesses, Spinarak, is actually one of the most common types you are going to be up against in this game, just as a heads up in mind. It will also help in situations where you will encounter Pokemon who are faster than it, as its base speed is 40, which is relatively low, but later in the game it will fall behind. So it could be a good Pokemon to use early on, but honestly, as an FYI, I would not really recommend it in the slightest. And I think, speaking of Spinarak, no, that's a fishy. Alright. So, with region exclusives again, only in Soul Silver, the counterpart of Caterpie and Metapod are Weedle and Kakuna. The counterpart of the Caterpie evolution line, which I already just said moments ago. It too is a poison bug type just like Spinarak, who evolves at level 7 and then again at level 10 into Beedrill, who is a fast physical sweeper. Though the moves it learns, well, they're not really as good as Butterfree's, because the only good move it learns by leveling up is at level 37 being Poison Jab. And that's basically all I've got to say about Beedrill, in all honesty. It can have its uses later on in the Pokemon franchise, but in this game it's not. And also in Soul Silver, you'll be thankful because this is the worst bug-type Pokemon to use, Ledybur. Immediately evolves into Ledian at level 18, which is an early, but I believe which is actually an early evolution, but I believe the only way Ledian could be improved is to have another evolution where its base stats are much higher than what it is now. Because its base stat total only reaches in well, actually hang on a second, let me go over this real quick. I'm losing track here because I'm like going DS screen, iPad screen, laptop screen and so on, and just jumping the gun all over the place. So the reason why I say Ledian could do with another evolution is because its base stat total is 390, with 50 base defense compared to 110 special defense. It is even worse when it carries Iron Fist for the ability, which boosts the power of punching moves, whereas the only punching moves it learns are Comet Punch and Mach Punch by leveling up, and B, its base physical attack is only 35. The highest it can be, maximum at level 100, is 185. Nearly as powerful to one-hit KO a Pokemon that we've actually met in the Kanto region, which I think you know who I'm on about, being Magikarp. Yeah, I'm trying my best to make my commentary entertaining as best as I can, but it's not really that easy. There we go, Youngster Joey using a Rattata. This is the first definition of a trainer battle, which we already went over in the past because, as you can pretty much tell, we did that with our rival. So, Sentry, we're just going to try and level you up as best as we can. We can't guarantee the outcome. Oh, Quick Attack. That is a priority move, that is. Exactly the same power and accuracy as the move I mentioned earlier on, being Shadow Sneak. And just a heads up in mind in this game, this game actually is really good. Because when you're in the reds, you hear the doo-doo, 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 doo-doo every single time. So it always makes you feel aware of your Pokemon about to being knocked out. And just as a heads up, the AI trainers in this game are relatively stupid. Because half the time, they have a chance to knock you out, but instead they decide to use Tail Whip instead. Kind of silly to say the least. And now, as we're approaching the end of the episode, something else I should really point out that's actually really annoying about this game is that on occasions, you will meet a trainer who will ask if you will have their phone number. I am not going to be accepting all of them. Joey here, He will ask you if you want to have a battle at any given time. You can talk to them again and accept their phone call if you ever so want to. But I wouldn't really recommend wasting your time with receiving so many phone calls because it will delay the game a lot. Because when I played this game for the very first time in my life back in 2010, that's actually when I first started playing Pokemon for the very first time in my life. I was receiving phone calls like crazy and I was getting really, really, really annoyed. And I was just like, shut up. Until it got to the point of just opening up the bag and then dropping it again, and immediately they stopped ringing us or entering a building. It was so annoying because it's like they either ring up to say, hey, I would like to have a Pokemon battle against you, or hey, I caught this Pokemon the other day, but my Pokemon accidentally knocked it out or something. Like, you know, they just randomly talk for no apparent reason and then bam. It just wastes your time. And there we go. And with it coming to that, I'm going to say it's a good stopping point for us. Next time on Pokemon HeartGold, we're going to be progressing further into Route 30 and see what's on the other side, being another town, no doubt. See you guys then.